It was horrible, really. But more than that, it's like, because it was the end of an era. And for me personally, I mean, it had been such a huge part of my DNA for 12 and a half years. It's really, I'm guessing, although thankfully I've never had the feeling, but I'm guessing it must have been like losing a child.
What?
If I'm honest with you, Neil, and I'll always be honest, no, that's made up because I'm not intending to do a Kickstarter. Why? Because the Kickstarter costs 9%. 5% for Kickstarter people and 4% for the guys who do the money. And I think I'd rather use that 9% for us. And I don't think we need a Kickstarter because the community will either go into it or they won't. And I don't think having a Kickstarter will actually add anything to it. But I'm launching a brand new Kickstarter. And in fact, I'm going to be launching 3 different Kickstarters. They're all based around the same premise, but you'll understand as I explain why I'm doing this in 3 goes. And I'm launching a Kickstarter in literally in the next couple of weeks. There'll be a special introductory launch offer, a bonus bumper bundle, which I'm coming on to shortly. But as I said to you, I'm going to have actually 2 additional Kickstarters, all to do with AGA. At the moment, I've decided that I'm not going to do a Kickstarter for this, and there's a very good reason for that. The Kickstarter that will cost, the money that you send in will cost 9%. And the way that's worked out is that Kickstarter themselves, they take 5% of the money. And then the people who provide the funding, they take a further 4%. And I just think that that is a lot of money that we would have to pay out when we could actually utilize that money. So that's why I'm not doing a Kickstarter. I'm just relying on you people sending your money in as you do for my books and things. I must also tell you that initially I had not planned to do a Kickstarter. The reason I had not planned to do the Kickstarter is because Kickstarters cost 9% of the money that's raised. Kickstarter themselves charge 5%. And then the people who provide the finance, i.e. you made a pledge, they get the money from you and then pay it. They charge 4%. So 9% is a big slug of money. However, I've subsequently realised that the interest that I've generated from this by having these conversations with people like yourselves is that it needs to be a Kickstarter because it's a big project and I need their administration. So I'm going to have to do a Kickstarter. Now, I've got a couple of other things that I want to do, which were not part of my initial Kickstarter. These are for later projects, but I want you to understand the magnitude of what AGA represents and what we plan for it. I found out then that Commodore never, ever, ever had a business plan of any kind. Yeah. They didn't have one. They used to stumble from one crisis to the next. Now we get to the part that matters. How much does that cost you? Right, there's a table of annual subscription, which varies on basically who you are. If you're a supporter, you don't necessarily want to get involved. All donations welcome, of course. The bigger the better. But the whole concept is that the Kickstarter is asking people to, pay your £38, get your membership, everything, you get everything as is described, and we can then proceed from there. And I hope you understand my rationale and reason for this. The principal funding methodology. Our most important client is an individual basic member, and I'm proposing that will be £20 a year. Now, founding member, people who actually, individuals who actually want to join this alliance and be part of it, it's £30 a year. If you're a founding member, it's £37 or $37 or 37 euros. At the time that I actually produced this, not long ago, they're all pretty much on the par, which was not what it was supposed to be. The reason why it's 37 is that this is the 37th anniversary of the Amiga, so I just felt it made sense. How it works is it is an annual fee-based system, and basically I'm asking people to subscribe, for which they will get a 1 year's membership, and at this moment in time, the cost of this is £38. And the reason I decided on 38 is because, of course, it is the 38th birthday of the Amiga, and it makes perfectly good sense. Individual members, it's going to cost £30 a year.
individual founding member is going to be £38 a year. Now, I messed around with this for quite a while, but the reason I'd come up with £38 is because this is the 38th anniversary of Amiga. And it just makes sense. It's a reasonable amount. It's not expensive because we're only asking a small amount from individuals. £38 is a very small amount, and as you know, I've just explained, you're getting over £100 worth of goodies for your £38. So it's absolutely a no-brainer. We could consider really that you're getting all of those goodies, and you're getting your AGA membership for free. It's the same thing. Obviously, anybody wants to support the project, any donation welcome, and that goes from $1 to $1 million. We'll take it all.
Individual service providers pay £50 a year.
Okay, if you are an individual provider of any service to the community, in other words, you do repairs, or you do recapping or anything like that, anything that you offer, £75 a year, because you're making money out of the community, and you need to be able to put something back into the community. You come back onto all this, and that will include the bonus bumper bundle deluxe, which we'll come back onto. If you are an individual service provider, let's say you work from home and you do repairs for people, it's $50 or £50 a year, whatever, because obviously you're making money from it. Remember, all of these people are getting promoted on the website and so on and so forth. Everyone can choose to participate at a higher level, such as sponsorship. That can be silver level, gold level, platinum level, diamond level, so on, master, major sponsor level. I intend to approach the likes of SumUp to be a major sponsor, as they provide a really excellent low-cost payment service, and that makes it very flexible for everybody. There are others, of course, that you may wish to propose. And I'm trying to be as fair as I can.
No. The problem with Mary Alley, and in fact the company in general, is that it is a company that never had a plan. They used to stumble from one crisis to the next.
At this moment in time, we're intending to allocate a minimum of 20% back into the community. At this moment in time, I've changed that, and I've obviously got the wrong one open. We're now talking, because I'm now doing a Kickstarter, we're now talking about 50% of the money that's raised is going back into the community in a way that I will tell you about momentarily. I thought I'd change that, but maybe I didn't say that, but I don't. And so initially, I've decided I'm going to be giving 20% of all the money that comes in is going to go back into the community in one way, shape, or form. Right, here we go. Now, at this moment in time, we are intending to allocate a minimum of 65% of all the revenues that come back into the AJ project back into the community to be able to sell into a new market. So I was recruited for no reason, because I had no business plan. You see what I mean?
It's a company that never had a plan. It used to stumble from one crisis to the next. It was ridiculous.
That's an example of them not having a business plan. They didn't know what to do.
What do you think was Commodore's biggest mistake?
Not having a plan. Ever. They just never had a plan. Nobody sat down and said, where do we go from here and how do we get there?
They had no plans for Amiga whatsoever.
It was an absolute nonsense. Such a complete waste of money.
And I have a belief that over a fairly short time, that logo can be more powerful and should be more powerful than either the Amiga logos or the Commodore Chicken Head logos, and in which case it could be that the Cargo logo has more power and more relevance and can take over from the Commodore and the Amiga logos, and therefore those people who currently are greedy and just want to sell those logos and get money for it, we can probably bypass them. That's kind of a hope. But can you see where I'm coming from?
Check out the Alliance, and there'll be a list of user groups in your area. It's a really, really cool idea, and I really support David on this, and I can't wait to see what can come of the Commodore Amiga Global Alliance.
And I'm so excited to be working with David and the team and being part of the Commodore Amiga Global Alliance.
I totally support the project of David Pleasance to create a website where all the community, all the stores, all the individuals, all the companies, everybody can join, meet. And I think this is the very, very, very good point for the future to rebuild something cool together. Amiga, today for the future.